Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shelley Show. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're all keeping well and staying away from COVID, as I'm sure in most of the regions it is decreasing, and there's not much challenge that we see today. This is a different version of the Shelley Show. Now, one of my friends actually asked me that Shelley, you invite so many guests, bring them to the show, and then you ask them questions. What if those people have questions too? And that was quite interesting, and that intrigued me. So picked up the phone and asked few of my friends that, when I invite you to the show, and I ask you so many questions, do you have questions too? So they said, of course. So I said, okay, come on to the show and you can ask questions on the show. So now we've just changed the format a bit, and this is host on host. And in this particular session, the series, what we're going to do is we're going to invite a guest, and the guest is going to ask us questions. So to start with, for the first time ever, I have on this show, the first episode of the series, host and host, um, Ashish Sharma. So without any further ado, let me bring in Ashish to the show, and then let's ask him what does he think and what questions he has for me. So let me bring in Ashish Sharma.
Hi,
Hi Ashish,
Shelley.
how are you doing?
Not too bad, Shelley. How are you?
Welcome to the Shelly Show.
Thanks a lot. I think it's a pleasure and I think an honor to be the first host on this show.
So now the floor is yours. You are the host today, and take your time and first of all introduce yourself to the audience, just to start with.
Thanks, Shelley. Thanks again for the opportunity, and I'll probably make it a bit tough for you, unlike the way you do with other guests. So myself, Ashish Sharma, currently working as head of cloud and data for Hexaware Technologies, focusing on providing customers a pathway, a pathway to move to cloud at a scale. Uh, Essentially, that's what I do, cloud and data in my day-to-day life. And been here in Australia for quite a few years, worked in US, Europe, and Japan for a while. But as I said, right now I lead the cloud and data practice for Hexaware Technologies for Asia Pacific and Japan.
Good stuff. Thank you for introducing Ashish. The floor is yours. You can ask whatever question you have for me, and I will try to answer those questions as you go. So the floor is yours. Go on.
Thanks, Shali. I think so. The first thing I like to ask is, because this is all about the Shali show, as I call it. It's not about Shalinder anymore. I think the Shali show in itself is a brand, is a platform for people to come and share thoughts, ideas, and opportunities. Right? How's been your journey on the show? How's been your journey so far? Before we start with the show, how's been your journey as a in your career and in your professional life so far?
So, uh, I've done a few bit of things, and Shelley show also happened accidentally. So, going back, I was working for Woolies, ran analytics at Woolies, then I ran Accenture Analytics in Australia and New Zealand, then I did IBM Asia, I ran IBM Asia Analytics there, and then SAP. I wrote the book, Making Money Out of Data, right behind you. I can shamelessly promote it. And then after writing the book, I joined SAP as a chief evangelist. So the idea was to tell people about emerging technologies, analytics, and what you can do with the data that you're collecting. So that was going on, and then COVID happened. And when COVID happened, I thought it it is a good idea to reach out to people directly onto their computers using social media. So that's when the Shelley show happened. And fortunately for me, it's been such a great place and been loved by so many people. I get so many messages, and it's amazing. And how the social media can reach so many people so soon, so quickly.
Well, that's so true. And let me tell you one thing. It's not only your hosting on the show, right? It's not that you are enjoying it. As viewers, we are also enjoying it because I make it a point. Of course, you send me a message every time on LinkedIn, but I do check my notifications on LinkedIn to see when is your next show coming up or when is the show coming up. And I try and make sure I'm attending all your shows because there is always a different guest, there's a different viewpoint, different topic, different customers, and instead of the way I see it is, instead of going and reading about that topic or that particular problem or opportunity on internet, I might as well join the Shelley show and then hear about it from the expert itself himself, right? So I think that's the approach I've taken to the Shelley show. What's been so that was your journey, but what's been your journey from a Shelley perspective, the Shelley, the persona, Shelley, the Shelley show, the concept of Shelley show? What's been your journey? How's been your journey so far as Shelley show, not as Shallon?
Well,
I know
as
you
far
can't.
as
I know you can't separate one from the other, but what's been your journey as the Shelley show? Because I think, in my view, it's a, of course, we all exist at individuals, but at some stage, this Shelley show, I think, is a different concept, a brand or a platform on its own. And I think that's why I'm hosting it. So irrespective of who hosts it, the brand still remains, right?
yep,
So how's
yeah, the
been what's
brand
been
still remains.
the
And I think because it goes live to so many platforms at the same time. So today we are going live on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I just added that to the list as well. LinkedIn, of course. I think it is a very different place and a very different ballgame altogether. And the way people have liked the platform, the Shelley show itself, and every time you wouldn't believe that when I started, it was around about 250 to 300 people watching live, but in the last few months, I have seen over 1,000 people watching live on different platforms, which was like amazing because I never thought that there would be that many people watching it. And then I've also created those little shows, which is like what is AI, because there is a lot of confusion in the market as well. So if you think about it, there are lots of people who don't know what AI is. Most of the people, when you talk about AI, for them it is robots. And I don't know how that's come to mind. Even on Twitter, when you type AI, what you will see is you will find a lot of people showing those robots, those futuristic bikes or cars or drones or whatnot. But what actually is, so these kind of little series have actually made a huge impact because it's telling the audience what actually AI and machine learning and analytics can do for them. So I think there has been a differentiation.
very well said. I think, yeah. In my view, the other thing that you're probably doing is, how when there was no COVID and you used to travel. I've
Mhm.
seen some of your shows in Hong Kong and things like that, those events. You're actually those creating those events virtually while you're not able to travel.
Yep, yep, absolutely, absolutely. So the reach is there. So what happens then is then people are able to see even if I'm not able to travel. So for example, before the COVID happened, we could travel anywhere, right? So we all know that. But when COVID happened, the travel was taken away from us. But what has happened is that we still are able to interact with such a wide audience, even though it was all shut down. And I think that was a huge differentiator as well.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
that reminds me. I can ask one thing. There are lots of people watching this episode, guys. Where are you watching us from? As Ashish just said that people all over the world are watching this. So where are you watching this from? Just put that in the comment section, and we will share it with the audience as well.
Thanks for the tip, Charlie. I'll ask next time. I'll ask this question.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, of course, you started this show, this brand, and this platform. But what's been your learning so far? And as the I quote unquote, my the global head of cloud and data at Hexaware, Milan Bhatt, he whenever I take an opportunity from him, he always asks, what is it? How is it making a difference? So, what have been your learnings, and how is it making a difference for the customer? And in this case, the customer are your viewers, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, in my view, I am just spreading the awareness around AI, emerging technologies, machine learning, well, emerging technologies, machine learning, AI, IoT, blockchain, big data, all those concepts, which were concepts. So I'm bringing in these senior leaders and bringing them in and talking about what kind of areas, what kind of use cases they're being using. And I think that is for me, some of those shows were amazing because some of the learnings even I got were like out of the blue. I didn't even realize that that was happening. Some of the use cases that people were sharing were out of the world, and a lot of work that people are doing is being shared through the show. So I think that ways we are making a difference in the world by educating people on what the art of possibilities. And the important thing is that most of the people, and I'll go the analytics way. Most of the people think analytics is reporting, right? And I say that in almost every show. But what we're doing is we're trying to help people understand what kind of business problems that they are trying to solve, what they're solving. And I think that is where the differentiation is coming through as well.
And I think one thing. I've led data and AI, data science practice for a consulting firm in Australia. But for me, icing on the cake was when Mr. Kimball himself was on the show, right? As a student, of what he professes and actually implements, and also how someone has actually taken his one of his keywords, snowflake, and made a brand out of it. I think for me that was icing on the cake.
So,
So
so before you move on, I'll just tell you a very funny incident. And why I'm saying that is because I haven't spoken to you since morning, but in the morning I actually spoke to him, and I did ask the same question. So, were you involved in giving that term snowflake to the snowflake guys? And he said, no, 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 not really. I didn't do that. But to be honest, it is funny that you asked me or you mentioned Bill Inman, though I spoke to him in the morning, right in the just about doing another show with him. So it is funny that this has come up again.
yeah, I mean, but as you rightly mentioned, right, this whole journey and this platform, what you think is the future? What are your future plans for the platform?
So I'm now thinking to bring in mostly C-suite onto the platform. So people, because I was talking to one of my very good friends, and he said, Shelley, the challenge is not with the junior level guys because they are being taught or they're being trained by the senior level guys. But some of the senior level, do they understand the concepts? Maybe a good idea would be to focus on the C level outside of the data paradigm and maybe ask them what do they think about machine learning, AI, analytics, and stuff, and maybe educate them as well, and give opportunity to the audience to ask that question to them. And I think that is where we're going to get towards. So be focused only on sea level. And having said that, the next host on host is going to be the CMO of IBM, who's kindly taken the offer to join us next week. So don't forget and mark the calendar. So next week, same time, same place, you will be able to see and meet the chief marketing officer of IBM.
So essentially, host on host is going to be a weekly feature.
Yes, please. At
Okay,
least
well,
for now.
for
And,
now.
and and I can say, guys, whoever is watching, and if you are at a sea level and if you want to come onto the show, please, 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 just let me know and I will bring you in.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think so. Just going back to start of this year, right? We were still in COVID. Travel was still a distant dream. I think it still is, irrespective of what they say around, 80% vaccination will let you travel. The airlines have actually made tickets so expensive we can't travel. So, so let's contextualize this whole conversation a little bit. Go back to start of the year and focus on what we thought will be topic for the day, right? Which
Sure.
is forecasting prices for news, National Stock Exchange in India. Now
Yeah.
we started this journey in March, right? From an education perspective, and thanks to you, you brought me on that journey, and I think we did a good job. One of the highest viewership, we had for that event, and the idea back then was to take students
Mhm.
or students or I would say interested parties on a data science journey, not a data journey. That was a data science journey. What differentiates a prediction from a forecast, right? Things like that, right? So we if you remember, when we talked to those guys, everyone was just doing forecasting. There was no prediction, right? So that's where we started this journey. And the use case back then was, can we use data science to predict stock value with a, of course, with an error of margin, right? With a percentage of surety, or things like that, right? So uh, post that event, how have you tried to, because we kept conversing about the same thing again and again, and we also obviously will talk about it a little bit later, but um, how have you tried to expand that concept, that particular experience? Have you tried to do something with it? Or because it was very interesting, right? And that is the reason we had one of the highest level of viewership for that event. So how have you
No,
tried to expand the journey?
absolutely. I'll go there, but before that, I want to ask you a question. And before I ask you a question, I should tell everyone, the audience, guys, if you've got a question, put that in the comment section, and I'm sure Ashish will take that. And I know he's not a regular host, so he's not used to asking those comment, making those comments, but I will keep on reminding him. So,
i'm
guys,
learning I'm learning, Shelley. So
if you've got a question, please put that in the comment section, and I'll take that. Okay, coming back to but before that, I will ask you a question. You know what, guys? When we started the project, Ashish turned around and named it Project Dhani, and I don't know why. So let me ask him: why did you keep the name Project Dhani when we started that project way back in March?
there were two reasons, I would say.
Mhm.
um, Okay, there were two reasons. One was more personal and spiritual, and the second was more technology related. And
Mhm.
I'll try and address both. So when I say personal and spiritual, so word dhani or
Mhm.
dhanya is essentially a Sanskrit word
Mhm.
related to Indian mythology. And back then, the idea was that we'll go live with something, or we'll produce something in about 6 months' time, which
Mhm.
lines up with of 5 to 6 months time, which lines up with the new financial year from a mythological
Mhm.
perspective, which starts very soon,
Mhm.
around Diwali, festival of lights for Indians and Hindus. So that was essentially a Sanskrit word, and because it lined up very well with the new financial year and it was related to finance, that's why I named it Dhani. So that was this personal connect. The technical connect was none of the other names that I thought of were available on internet to buy a domain name.
That is a very good reason.
So this was available. So I just thought, we'll use something that we can get the name right.
Good stuff. Okay, that is good. So we in the month of March um, decided to if we were able to predict the stock price of stocks, and so we picked up a smaller stock exchange, and that was the National Stock Exchange in India. And we thought let's pick the stocks there. And what we were thinking was that we will predict each and every share which is available on the stock exchange. So predict the entire stock exchange. So that was the aim or the goal. And were we able to do that or not? And I'll share that with you. Before I get into before I deep dive into it, Ashish, do you have any other questions for me?
No, I think we get into that, but I don't have. I know you're giving me a tip. So, viewers, any questions that you have, please send a message, and I will take it up and get Shelly to answer it for you guys. Keep them coming.
Perfect. The other thing is, please don't forget to like and share this video with as many people as possible. And I'm saying that just at the beginning of sharing some insights from the National Stock Exchange in India, so more and more people can actually learn from what we've done. And so, if this is the right time to like and share and with all invite people in, because the boring stuff, the journey, my journey and everything is over now, and we will get into the meat of data can how we can use data science to predict stock exchange. So in March this year, we planned and we started to we start we sort of thought that we could predict the stock market, and so we started on this journey. What we did, we created a platform where we were getting data coming in from different sources. We got every day's 10 years data for the National Stock Exchange available to us, of course, through APIs, and got it onto a platform. Ashish, do you want to talk about a bit about the platform before I jump into the insights?
Yeah, I think from a platform perspective, what we have built is a platform which is scalable, of course, and I think, but that's not that's a given in today's scenario. But what we have done is we have built a platform on cloud, right? Because that's my bread and butter nowadays, data and cloud. So we built a platform on cloud. I won't name which cloud for now because then I'll probably because of professional reasons. So, but we built a platform on cloud for the scalability reasons, and also for the fact that we can then connect to the outside world and get the data from there. We've spent a lot of time on data engineering aspect because irrespective of how good data scientist you are, if you don't have a good data engineer and you don't get good curated data, it is always a problem for you to play around, and then you have to do all the hard work yourself, right? We don't expect a data scientist to be data engineer. So we have tried to change address different layers differently, Shali, from a
Mhm.
platform perspective. So data acquisition is different than data curation, data engineering, and then the analytics is totally different layer, which we have worked on differently. So actually taking a very professional approach, use the best platform available from a technology perspective, and of course the support that we received from the platform provider, which we'll probably name at the end. And so taking a professional approach, as I said, scalable approach, templatize it, standardize it, and then add your own tweaks to it to be able to predict the stock, right? So that's the approach from a platform perspective we have taken.
Perfect. So let me very quickly jump into it and say, what have we done? So we extracted the entire stock market data for the past 10 years, cleaned the data by stock, by day, and we looked at the close values. And we then put that data into the platform and we storing it there. And then after the cleansing of all of that, we created some new features as well. And then as a result of that, and you will see some of the features as I will talk about it, but then as a result of that, we started predicting stock price. On the 1st of September, we decided that we will start predicting for 5 days in advance. So on 1st, we will predict for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of September, so that we know how accurate we are. And I will very, very quickly, and that we are doing on daily basis. So that's happening. So we are getting all the data and we are predicting on daily basis for 5 days in advance. So, for example, today we will predict in the evening when the data comes in. We will predict in for tomorrow, day after tomorrow, which is Thursday. Tomorrow is which is Thursday, Friday, and then Monday. So we will predict for all 5 days as we go forward. So that's what we did. So let's look at the results, and I think we were. I was very excited when I looked at the results. But let me just bring in some of the results and share with you guys. So here we go. First of all, I want to know if everyone is able to see my screen. Okay.
Shelley, before we go any further, just a
Mhm.
quick disclaimer, guys. This is not for speculation. This is not for trading. This is purely and purely for academic purposes. As
Absolutely.
professionals, yeah, as professionals and students of data science, we have tried to look at a use case, but please don't use it for investment purposes. This is just academic purposes that we have done this because of because we're curious on what we can do with it.
Absolutely. So absolutely, please don't use this for any kind of speculations. This is purely academic, and the idea was that will we be able to, if we got all the data, will we be able to actually predict the stock value? As I said, we so this is from the first onwards. So let me just very quickly show to you what we've collected, and if you can see my screen, we've got data for each of the stock up until 22nd of October. So this is actuals for if you're seeing that on the screen. So what we've done is we've picked up all the stocks and predicted for 5 days, as you see. And at the moment, we're predicting 1694 stocks on daily basis. Now, looking at the accuracy, this is so what you see on day one is the accuracy levels in percent, the variance in percent. So, how far were we? How much accurate we were after mapping it against the actuals. So, if you predicted a stock to be 100 rupees, then it was around about 2.5% here and there, and that was what was on day one. So this is for the first stock. So if I looked at the if I did a accuracy check, so within 1%, we were able to predict 48 stocks. So 48 stocks we could predict within 1% range. So we were so accurate for 48 stocks, and if you look at it on daily basis, we predicted that from 1st of September till 22nd of October, and these stocks, the variance was less than 1% from what we predicted to what it was actual. For example, if you pick up, and I will pick this stock up, Avanti Feed. So this stock particularly was basically 0.9% accurate on average on daily basis on day one. On day two, we became 1.5% accurate. Well, the variance was 1.5% between the actual and the predicted, and then 1.8, 2.3, and 2.2. The maximum was 3.6, so maximum variance was 3.6, whereas the minimum was actually spot on, and I'll show you that stock very quickly. Before I look at the other stocks, individual stocks, guys, if you want me to pick any stock, let me know. We can do that as well. But let's very quickly check. If I was to look at 5%, actually, we predicted almost 1664 stocks. So only 30 stocks were outside of 5% variance. 95% stocks, you can think, were within 5% variance for the last, how many? 45 days, day in, day out. So that is the accuracy level that we were able to achieve. Now, let's do something else. While we were doing this, um, I will go into looking at each and every stock one by one. So let me just stop sharing now. What do you think about this, guys? If you've got a
Uh,
question, please put it in
I've
the
got
comment
a
section.
I've got a question from Dave.
Mhm.
Um, may- I'll let you decide when you want to answer that question. But what parameters were used for prediction?
What analytics was used? So we're running 3 or 4 different models at the moment, and we're picking up the best pick. So we are using the RNN, we're using regression, and we're using decision tree. So statistically, there are a few models that are being run in the back. which then selects which is the better model based on the error, and then spits out the value. Okay, let me get to some more meat. Um, Give me a second, guys. If you've got a question, please put that question in the comment section, and we will take that question. So, if you look at the data, these are the 48 stocks that we were talking about, and I've just pulled all only the 48 stocks just to deep dive and see what's going on. So let's pick one of the stocks. So Avanti Feed we were talking about. So if I look at Avanti Feed, and hopefully you're looking at my screen and you're able to see the screen. Not this one. I will have to again share it. So what I've done is I've picked up Avanti's feed just to see how accurate we were. So if you look at Avanti feed, so on the if you look at the x-axis for people who are data scientists or people who play with data, that is the actual, and on the y-axis is the predicted value. Now, just look at this. For Avanti feed, on 11th of October, we predicted that the value will be 577 rupees 34 cents. That was the actual, and we predicted that will be 580. So we were around about 3 rupees difference at a value of 577. So we were like very close. Similarly, on the 6th of October, we predicted that it will be 573, and it was 571. So we were very, very close even on that. So most of them were within the range of 99% accuracy. Similarly, um, on 7th of October, we predicted that the value will be 571. It was 580. On 5th of October, we said 552. It was 574. Let's look at here. See how accurate we were on 14th of September. On 14th of September, we said it was 565, and it was 564.45. So it was like just 55 pesa difference. Let's look at this. Where else? This one or this one. So initial days 555 on the 8th of September was the actual value, and we predicted a day before that it was 557. So we were just 2 rupees, less than 2 rupees difference in the actual versus the predicted. So we were predicting quite accurately each and every stock on each and every day. So that was just one of the stocks. Let me pick another one for the sake of um, making it much more interesting. Let's pick a bigger one. Let's pick Britannia. And let me share my screen. Okay, let's look at Britannia. So this is Britannia actual versus predicted. So on the x-axis again is the actual, whereas on the y-axis is the predicted. Guys, if you've got a question, put that in the comment section and we will take that for sure. And please don't forget to like and share this video with as many people as possible. So if you look at this, on the 14th of October, we predicted that the Britannia's stock price will be 3,879 rupees, but it was 3,894 rupees. So only 10 rupees difference if you look at it. Similarly, on 18th of October, it was 3837 and we were 3895, around about 40 rupees. Um,
Shelley,
Similarly,
Shelley,
yep.
there is a request for Tech Mahindra stock. Of course,
I
Hexagon is
don't. I didn't extract it. Sorry, I didn't extract it. I'm sorry. I can tell you which one I have done that.
Mhm.
I really apologize. I didn't extract that stock. I will. I'll tell you. What I've got at the moment, and that will be easier for everyone. And I'm doing it purposely because I didn't want to speculate a lot as well. So that is why I kept it to a few of. So I've got. You tell me, guys, which one do you want? So I've got Avanti Feed. I shared. I shared Britannia. There is Cipla. There is Dr. Reddy. There is IRFC, and there is Swan Energy. So if you want to pick any one of those, let me know, and I will go there. But after Britannia, I'm thinking of picking up Cipla. And if you want any other one, let me know. So we could do Dr. Reddy or Cipla or both, whatever you say.
Oh, the hot. the hot topic in the market, right? Pharmaceutical.
Yes, pharmaceuticals. So, guys, anyone which you think um, you wanted to do?
Someone said Cipla. So
Sipla.
let's
Okay,
go.
let's go Sipla.
Cipla.
Okay, let's go Sipla. Let me run Sipla and very quickly change my screen, sharing back to Sipla. There we go. Okay, so on Sipla, if you look at the bottom, the x-axis that is the actuals and the y-axis is the predicted. So what we predicted for Sipla on 14th of October that it will be 916 rupees and it was 911 rupees. So less than 5 rupees difference. At so you're looking at 1,000 rupees, 5 rupees here and there, 1,000 rupees. It is less than it's around about 0.5%, right? Similarly, on 21st, we predicted 903 and it went on to 911. On let's take this one. On 6th of October, we predicted 930, it was 913. On 1st of October, we predicted 986, it was 980. Oh, sorry, we predicted 980, it was 986. So we've been within 5 to 6 rupees most of the time. So Sipla, we've been quite accurate in terms of delivering or predicting the stock price of Sipla. See here, on 27th September, we predicted Sipla to be 968 and it was 962. Similarly, on 20th of September, we predicted 938, it was 960, a bit on the higher level, the difference, the variance. Whereas, let me pick another one. Yep. On 17th September, it was 954, and I predicted, or we predicted 961. So that is how we've been getting the stock price and taking the value and how it is against the predicted, against the actual. And most of them, they're between 95% for Cipla. So we're keeping in within the range, if that makes sense. Guys, what do you think about this? Please put that in the comment section and also let us know if you want something else or some of the other things that you want to ask. You can put that in the comment section as well. But
I've
please
got
don't
one
forget.
question. I've got one
Mhm,
question from Manmeet. What
mhm.
are the challenges faced while building the models?
So we'll come to the challenges, and I think I'll take Manmeet's question in a minute. But before that, let's get to a couple more areas that we were thinking of talking about. Any other stock from the list I showed, guys? If you want to share that, let me know. Put that in the comment section. We'll take that. I am thinking of taking one more stock before we get to the questions, and that is Swan Energy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, give me a minute, and then I will come back to two things, and then we can take questions again. Sorry, this is the wrong area to select. Let me pick up. Okay, so here it is. I need to do Swan, right? Is that Swan? Maybe. Yes, this is Swan. So Swan Energy. Uh, Imagine what we were able to predict. So again, it was x-axis is the actual, whereas the y-axis is the predicted values. So if you look at that, on 14th, we predicted 133. It was 131. So it's just 2 rupees difference. On 13th, we predicted 131. It became 133. Again, 2 rupees difference. 1910, 19th October, 133, 130 was the actual. And let's pick another one from a different date. 23rd of September, we predicted 130 and it was 129. So look at the difference. It's so close that we were able to predict these stocks. As I said, 90% of the stocks were within 5% of prediction. And this is just interaction between stocks itself. We have not got into the next level, which we'll talk about in a minute. Let's look at this. 136 was the predicted value, 137 was the actual value, and 134 was the predicted value. 136 was the predicted value, 134 was the actual value on 15th September. So this is how we were using data to predict the stock price, and that is actually just using the stock market data only. So we haven't done. This is not forecasting. This is prediction
Yeah.
at its level.
Actually, that's the I think that's been the key point, right? Instead of focusing on forecasting, focusing on the prediction. Now, the next thing, the big thing that you want to talk about.
Yeah, the next big thing which I want to talk about is, and I'll show that, is the fact that people can predict, but with prediction comes the reason for prediction. I can't predict something because I've pulled it out of my hat. Usually, that is what you're saying, right? So, why do you believe the fact that I've predicted that value? Where did that number come from? So there must be some kind of a relationship between some variables to predict that value. So what we've also done is we've created some features, and we've also while creating the features, we've also created the interactions between various variables. And I'll just share that with you, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Give me a second, and let me share. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen again, and you will get to see. So, if you look at Avanti feed, and I hope everyone is able to see my screen, right? So, if you were looking at Avanti feed, what are the key variables that actually drive the value, the accuracy level, for drive the stock price of Avanti feed? So, for Avanti feed, the value has been driven by. So if you look at that underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, so what we've done is we've taken the lag of 4 days. So this is day one, day two, day three, day four previously. So of course that is driving. So last 4 days drive the uh, prediction for tomorrow. But check this out. TVS Motors drives the stock price value for Avanti feed. So in my view, Avanti Feed would be a motorcycle company, Avanti, if I'm not wrong. So TVS Motor also. So as the stock price of TVS Motor goes up, Avanti Feed also goes up. Now let's look at others. Maruti again. As the price of Maruti goes up, Avanti Feed goes up as well. As the price of Religare goes down, Avanti Feed goes up. Does it make sense? So if you look at it, there are two companies. When their stock price goes down, Avanti feed. So this is Religare and Sub Events and Inox Wind. I don't know what they do, but Inox Wind. When their stock price goes down, they're negatively correlated to the stock price of Avanti feed. Now let's look at. We did talk about Britannia as well. So if you look at Britannia, Faber impacts Britannia. 3M India impacts Britannia. Whirlpool impacts Britannia's stock price. Um, Hindustan Unilever, I think, that impacts positively. So when these stocks go up, Britannia also goes up. But and look at HDFC Bank. When HDFC Bank goes up, Britannia goes up as well. On the other side, when Imagic Imagic CEA goes down, Britannia goes up. So look at the difference. So there is a relationship between these stocks when they interact with each other. Let me bring in Cipla and see if any pharmacy stocks actually impact.
So,
Now,
Shelley, just to let the users know, this is what we have spent last 6 to 8 weeks on, analyzing. What drives, what model or what pattern drives the other pattern, right? Of course, it will require a lot of analysis, further analysis. It will require a lot of resources, I would say, to do that level of analysis, because you need to uh, derive or identify, myriad of patterns. But that's what we have spent last 6 to 8 weeks after we build the base platform. That is what we've spent last 6 to 8 weeks on trying to figure out, what else. When one moves, does it move in a bunch, or does it just moves in isolation? And of course, everyone knows, right? It everything moves together. One thing does have a does have an impact on the other one. There's a famous saying, Shelley, in the data science world: if it doesn't rain in Perth, will it increase the price of apples in Sydney? It's something similar.
ये बात तो absolutely that's correct because even if it rains, and I'll tell you one thing. Tell me, if it rains, will that increase the stock price of a wine company? That's another thing to think about, but that's another topic of discussion. But think about this. Look at Cipla. When Cipla's stock price is impacted by HCL Tech. Now, these are two different sectors. HCL Tech is a technology company, whereas Cipla is a pharmacy company. So why? So when the HCL price goes up, um, Cipla's price also goes up. But if you look at the other ones, this is Apollo Limited, I think, if I'm not wrong. If that goes up, Cipla goes up. Whereas when let's look at the ones which go down. Um, Hindustan National GLS, I think, when this goes down, Cipla goes up. So they are negatively correlated with each other. Similarly, skill. Um, so skill is interesting. When the day skill goes down, it is the next day when Cipla goes up. So see, there is a relationship, but it doesn't kick in the same day. It's not the same day. It's a day after. Similarly, 4 days after Cipla goes down, after skill goes down, Cipla still stays up. So it has to be. So that's the relationship to actually calculate the value of the stocks, and that is the correlation model that was built upfront that fed into the model itself, and that these are the kind of things that we were doing. Okay, coming back to the reality. So
Explainability, right? Explainability is the key for yeah.
absolutely, explanation is the key. As I used to say, I can pick. Otherwise, it will be just a number from the hat, right? I can just pull a number from the hat and say, oh, tomorrow the stock price of this particular stock will go up or not. I don't know, but will it be? So that is what we've been doing for the last so many days, and that has created a huge um, workload on a couple of people who've actually built that. So this data is now automated. It is all happening by itself, sending out alerts, and that's what is making a huge difference. Now, last couple of, I think it was last week, when we were thinking about, what else can we do very, very quickly? And so we created something, and I'm just opening up my email just to share something with you guys. Just bear with me, my computer is slow today for some reason. But there is another thing that we could share with you. But before that, Ashish, is there any question that is coming from LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook that we can answer?
We still have that other one pending. There is one more, but I think I'll keep it to the last. The
Mhm.
question was, what are the challenges faced, while building the models?
Okay. So one of the
And
challenges is,
if I
sorry.
like to add, I think that's a related question, but I'll ask next.
Mhm. So you can ask now if you want me to add both of them.
No, I think it's a related question, but slightly different context. So, yeah. So the current question is, what are the challenges faced while building the models?
So building the model is just a small bit, or the easy bit, in other words. The difficult part is threefold. One is, think about what you want it to be doing, to be creative enough to see what should be inputted in the model. then finding out where that data is available and bringing that data in. So it's all about creativity, and I've been saying that for such a long time, that it's less about the data that you're building in bringing in. It's about where that data is coming in from and how do you clean that data to create those features. Most of the time is spent in that, and that is a bigger challenge than building a model.
Hmm. I think obviously I wouldn't discredit the variety, but it's not only the variety of it, it's how you curate it, how you create feature engineering, and then how do you do feature engineering, and then also how you essentially use that data. If you just have a lot of data but it's not curated and you're not able to use it properly, it does not it does not lend anything special to the engagement or the project. Any roadblockers on the way?
There are a few. One is that um, people thinking outside of the box is what data science is all about, right? And that is very hard to find. The guy on the ground who are thinking, who are building all of that exercise, need to think outside of the box. Need to be very, 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 what do you say? Let me
Exper-
use a different word.
experimental.
Experimental, and it takes a lot of time to actually think about what is needed and what will make a huge difference. So, for example, when we started building the model, the accuracy levels were really, really poor. Then we had to try a few things, and the accuracy levels started improving. So, and we're still not there. And I'm not saying that this is where we wanted to be. We can, in my view, we can even be much more accurate, but that will require even more creativity and cleverness in order to use different forms of data, modify the data, feature the data in a fashion. For example, and I'm just making it up. For example, you may think that the data on a particular stock may be impacted on every Wednesday, or every fifth Wednesday, or every eighth Wednesday. I don't know, but that will only come in when you get all that information into the model, and
Yeah.
create those features. And at a very on the very outset, you can negate it. You can say, well, no, no, that's not happening, that's not likely to happen. But unless you experiment, you won't know. Does it make sense?
No, totally agree. I mean, the buzzword is experimentation, right? You don't. There is plethora of models. There are different ways of skinning the cat, right? Unless you try, not everything works for everyone. So you just need to figure out, what works, and based on the data that you have and what you're trying to solve. Obviously, it changes from the use case to use case. Um, as with every journey, like what's next, where do we go from here on this particular idea or particular initiative, right? What's on the horizon?
So the
um,
next step or next thing that comes to mind just after doing this is that I want to bring in the news information, the social media information, because that has a huge impact on the stock as well, which was part of our journey as well, but we haven't incorporated it yet. That should be also that's the next thing that is going to come into the model, and simply allow people to actually do stuff that they wanted to do and they want to bring to the model.
so essentially, sentiments,
Yep.
how they impact, especially in a big market like India, right? So I think
Mhm.
that is the key. I think that was one of the initial ideas, right, that we started with. But COVID plus, a few other things. But I think we're still, from an education perspective, we are educating. I'll repeat it again for everyone. This is only for educational purposes. Do not use this information to invest in stock, right? This is as Shelley says, right? We are experimenting. So we're experimenting. You don't want to blow your money away on experiments. But if, of course, if and when we are ready, Shelley is ready, we will come up with something. We'll let you know. But now, moving away from Dhani, Shali, right? And moving away from, I think when we started this, right, I moved away from Shelley as a human, as an individual, not human, sorry, as an individual, but moving away from Dhani, let's go back to the platform, the Shelley show, right?
Yep.
Um, what's next for the Shelley show for the near future? And then we'll come back to Shelley the individual.
So one thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring in thought leaders, and as I said, C level as we go forward, not only through host on host, but also through other areas, other platforms, other other series, so that we can get lot more people to share their views, share their ideas, explain the use cases that they have been working on in this space, and share it with the audience, because I think people are missing out on a very important thing, that is the art of possibility. And that is where people are struggling, because all the software companies have been telling, all the technology companies have been telling the end user to collect more data. But what they're not telling them is, and maybe they're not qualified to do that, is what to do with that data. So these are the use cases that will be needle moving use cases that I want to bring to the table, and explain to people that this is what, for example, this exercise on what we did with Project Dhani was what to do with the data that is already available. We are not bringing data in from somewhere. We're not buying data. We just got the basic standard information that was available in the social media or in the on the internet, and just pulled it, whether it was the stock price, whether it was oil data, whether it was commodities, all of that came in, and then we created all of that. So that's where we're getting toward, if that makes sense.
No, I think that was the whole thought process, right? To experiment and to explore what's available, and encourage a lot of other people, especially the students of data science, to get that experimental thinking on your on your horizon. Excellent. We've got another question. What advice would you have for beginners building such prototypes in the area of investment prediction, fraud cognizance, etc.? I'll let you answer that,
um,
Shelley.
you want to answer?
No, no, I'll let you answer that, and then I'll add my
Yeah,
pieces. Yeah.
yeah. So the first thing is that, the technology is very easily available today, the data is available. So the first thing is act, and that is very very important. Most of the people don't even act. Most of the people just think, yeah, someone might have done it. And when I started this as well, so many people told me that someone would have done it somewhere. Why do you want to reinvent the wheel? But it's not always reinventing the wheel, because when you are doing it yourself, you're finding out different nuances, you're finding out different areas. As I said, it's very very, it's all creativity. It's how you do use that data and build that model that is more accurate than something else. And that is the reality, and that is the challenge that most of the people are facing. And that question was asked by Devinder, by the way. And thank you for asking that question, Devinder. So important thing is, think outside of the box, act, start building stuff, and make sure, think outside of the box, make sure to articulate what actually would impact, for example, in investment prediction, what would impact that. For example, house prices in Australia, if you were to predict that, what are the key areas, key things that will impact that? And then get that data and bring that in, so that you can maybe reject the hypothesis, or use that data into the model. Ashish, you want to add something?
I mean, talking about the house prices, please do your research, but don't invest because prices are already up. I won't be able to buy any more house if you keep investing. But talking about hypothesis, I think it's one thing is talking about beginners, right? And I'll come to hypothesis in a bit. Talking about beginners, if you're trying to build something like this, my first suggestion is, if you're a beginner trying to build this, that's different than if you're a beginner to data science, right? If you're a beginner to data science, try to learn, one platform. So you should always learn one platform, one cloud platform, I would say, because that will keep your cost down. That will give you the scale, that will give you compute, storage, whatever you need at a scale that you need it at fraction of a price. So focus on building your skills on one cloud platform, basic skills, right? You don't need to be an expert. And and everything is, because it's cloud, right? So everything is available in the public domain. So you use that. That's very important. If you have an idea but you can't implement it, it's of no use. you know you won't always find a team who will do it for you. You have to do it yourself. That's one. The second, and that's a very practical advice. The second thing I would say is hypothesis. Shelley talked about hypothesis. Hypothesis is only uh, you know true or false certain context. And as the time changes, as the variables change, the context changes, and that hypothesis, which is true yesterday, might not be true today, right? So keep monitoring your models, right? Keep monitoring the data, keep tweaking it, keep experimenting with it. um, Even if you get it right, even if you get it right, even if you get it accurate, keep monitoring it, because sorry, because the key is in continuously, monitoring it, modeling it, experimenting with it, and then fine tuning it. If you think you've got a model that works, don't rest with it, because it will change tomorrow. It will give you a different result. Keep monitoring the model, keep monitoring the output, keep training your models, keep testing, and and that's, I think that's the key. Keep experimenting with your data.
No, absolutely. Because the data changes, so the model will become out of whack very, very soon. And we've done that, we've seen that almost every time. One model doesn't fit all, like one shoe doesn't fit all the feet. So you need to keep optimizing the model as it goes so that you can build it and you can use it as people have a look at it.
Excellent, excellent. Any more questions, Shelley? No,
Now,
not
I don't have a
online.
question, but
No, no.
what
I'm just checking whether anything online. So I'll ask you next question. Last,
I.
probably my last.
Mhm.
Um, when are we doing the next show on this topic, right? And what you think we'll do between now and then?
On the NSE stock,
No, on Dhani.
on Dhani. Okay. So on Dhani, the next step is to bring in the social media data, as I said. And at the moment, when we showed the correlations or the models, we were talking about the relationship between stocks, right? What we want to do is show the relationship between the external events, like weather, like petrol prices, like what has
Bullion.
been said in the media, like a terrorist attack per se. I don't know, but all those things would also impact the stock market. Maybe the entire stock market may crash down, but um, that is what is being asked for, and we will be able to get that going as we go forward.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Guys, before I ask I know I said this was my last question, but I probably have a couple more. But any other questions from anyone?
So, guys, if you've got a question, put that in the comment section, and or if please like and share this video with as many people as possible so that people can see the art of possibility using data science, even if they don't see the first half, but they should be seeing the second half. We've got this running at the moment, and it's going absolutely great, and creating some great insights. And people should learn from these insights as well. That data science can do that. So please like and share with as many people as possible. Anything else? Any other question that you've got, Ashish?
No, I think it's been great 1 hour spending time, hosting you on the Sally show. as they say, tomorrow there'll be another host, but tomorrow there'll be another guest as well. So, all the best for Shelley Show, and hope to see you same time next week on a different topic, different host, and a different audience.
Absolutely. So next week we will have the CMO of IBM, and she'll be joining us. So and we'll be talking about. I think we'll be talking about leadership, marketing, digital marketing, and all that stuff. And that will be another show another time. So thank you very much for watching, guys.
Thanks, Shali. One question, but maybe not today, but towards when we're closer to the next Shelley show session, which is next Tuesday,
Mhm.
I'd like you to declare who's so like you've declared who the audience, who the host is. Who would be who would be in your panel, right? Couple of people that you would like to come, because we don't want just you on the panel as the guest. We want more people or as guests on the show.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, we should get a two-way conversation between two other people on the Shelley show, which will be quite interesting. No one has actually tried that, but that could be a different
Yeah,
conversation. But
because
thank you for
because
that idea.
yeah, because the host can actually be so you figured out who the host is, but I think as a platform you need to figure out who the guest is as well.
Sure, will do. Hey,
Let's make it as we say, right? Let's get more data in. Let's make it more complex.
absolutely, absolutely. Before I go, I would like to ask you guys: do you want anyone else to join the show? Then please don't hesitate and put their name in the comment section, and I will reach out to them and get them um, and make them the host. So if you want someone to join us on a live session, host on host, to host me, or host someone else, please put that in the comment section. That'll be great, actually. So please
Okay.
put that in the comment section. Okay, guys. Thank you. I
Thanks
think we're.
everyone. Yeah, go
Are
ahead,
we up?
Shelly. Yeah, I think we're up. Good 1 hour. Time well spent, right? So thanks everyone. Keep safe. Enjoy your day wherever you are, and had a good week.
Good stuff. Thank you, guys. Before you go, please, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, please press the follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, press the subscribe button and the bell icon. If you're watching this on Twitter, please press the follow button. And if you're watching on Twitch, press the follow button. If you're watching this on Facebook, please share this with other data science series episodes or groups so that more people can learn from this episode. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next week. Bye now. Take care.
Ciao.